Well, hey now, everybody. It's The Rob from 106.1 KISS FM here with my tag team partner in podcasting, the Swiss Superman, Jerry Valeri. Good morning, Jer.
Good morning. No mercy.
Oh, boy. Where do we start on No Mercy? This is
I'll let you lead the way, man. It's whew.
I kind of want to start where we usually end. Can we start with letter grades?
Sure. Absolutely.
Okay. I'm having a tough time with this one. I can start if you want me to, or you can give me yours. How do you want to start?
Oh man. I'll just go ahead and I'll put myself out there, and I'll say that I want to give it like if I was grading this, I'd want to give it an incomplete. I wouldn't even want to give it a grade. I want to give it an incomplete. What do you? I want to give it an incomplete, but okay. I'll give it a grade. I'll give it a grade.
Well, hold on. Before you give it a grade, explain why you want to give it incomplete.
Because I feel like the main event ended out of nowhere. Like it was like I felt like these matches were so close to paying off, and then you never got a payoff. I don't know. I didn't feel satisfied.
I mean, these are things to factor in, but I don't call that incomplete. I would say an incomplete would be like In Your House, Beware of Dog, in that the show went off the air because of the power going out.
Right.
I think you have to give it a grade. I don't think incomplete works for this particular show.
No, I mean, but I'm going to give it, and I'm sad that I have to do this. I'm sad that I have to give it a C. Because I had higher hopes for this pay-per-view. I had very, very high hopes for this. I thought this could be a B+, A- type show. The build was there. The interest for every feud was there. But you know, I was ahead of the fans. I was chanting, "This is boring," well before we got to Enzo and Neville.
Okay, so my grade is a B-/C+. And I will go into my grading system, and man, here is the problem that we run into over and over again with these pay-per-views, is that the wrestling was really, really good. Like every match last night, for the most part, the match was good. The matches were written really well, but there weren't any payoffs. There was no storyline progression. There wasn't a single. That's what
killed me.
There's not a single thing that I'm thinking about this morning from last night. There's not. I mean, we can call them water cooler moments. There's not a thing There's not a thing of I can't believe you missed this last night.
And I thought there were a couple opportunities to have that.
Sure, absolutely there were. But like other things are like, for example, like. I bet you my favorite match last night will surprise you.
I wonder if we have the same favorite match.
Okay, well,
because part of my grading is the fact that my favorite match, I think the best match of the night, was the match I was least interested in going into it.
Okay. Oh, well, then we have different ones. I know what you're going to say. And to be honest, I took a really long dump during the tag match. That may have taken.
That was a great match, dude.
I could tell, and I loved, I guess the problem with that was it had no heat for me going into it.
Well, that's the problem. And the matches that had a ton of heat, I don't know. I felt like Reigns and Cena ended flat. I felt like Lesnar and Braun Strowman ended abruptly, like to the point where I thought something wrong had happened.
Yeah. So the main event, the Cena Reigns one, I was enjoying the match for a while. I thought it started off a little bit wrong. I was confused. Why did Cena leave the ring before the match started?
Because they were chanting, "You both suck."
Oh, okay. Well, my problem with that was this was kind of like a blood feud in that they should have come out really swinging, and because they hate each other kind of thing. And I thought that it started too traditionally, like a wrestling match, when it should have started like a brawl. And then I thought that the ending was a little lazy in that I hate when And you see it a lot in wrestling. I know it's kind of a necessary evil, but it's become a cliche. I guess you call it, basically it's one guy on top for all of the match. And then you can say either someone slips on a banana peel or just one move takes away everything that you've seen. And I didn't like the finish. Like I get that Roman was going over. I wish it would have happened differently.
I was wondering if there was a special stipulation to the match that I had missed. Like, did they at some point change it to first one to hit their finisher 10 times wins? Because like it was just finish after finish after finish after finish after finish after kick out after kick out after finish, and I was like, come on. Do a different move. Do different moves.
One time it was an FU or an attitude adjustment into an attitude adjustment. I mean, there was a lot going on, and then it was just, and then like when Roman should be, if Roman just got 2 AAs, why is he popping up, hitting his finish out of nowhere, and that catches? It's just like, I don't know, that disappointed me, I guess. And then the last thing I wanted was to see them embrace after all this.
I wanted so badly, and I didn't get my hopes up because I didn't think it was going to happen. But if it's my company and I'm booking, if I have the pen, John Cena raises Roman Reigns' hand, and then Roman Reigns gives John Cena a clothesline that knocks him out of his sneakers.
Either one, but I don't want to see them hug after all this.
No, just keep it going. Turn Roman super heel and just get it over with.
Or not, but like we need to recognize that this face thing with Roman, him being the #1 babyface in the company, while I know you're going to try to wrench it in, it's just not happening the way you guys want it to.
It's not going to happen. And John Cena, this is a crutch for John Cena at this point. Anytime he does lose, he tries to like give you the respect handshake, and that's what he does. Yeah,
and I guess I just didn't want it right now. Now, what did you take away from the end of, like, was that Cena saying goodbye? I don't know what I to make of.
That was my only other note from that match. I was like, so is Roman Reigns on the retirement tour? Like, he has a match with Undertaker, and then they say he retires him, but we didn't know it was Undertaker's last match. And then he has a match with Cena, and he beats him, and it sure looks like Cena's done now. I know he'll come back because he's not the 17-timer. But
I think Taker will come back.
Yeah, I do. But they're gonna play that like Roman's retiring guys. I don't know.
I don't know either.
If that's the case, then I have a list of guys I'd like him to wrestle, so I don't have to see them anymore,
including himself.
Yes, wrestle yourself.
So there was that, and the same thing with the Undertaker at WrestleMania. These are not ways to retire people. Like I want to know when it's someone's last hurrah. Like don't just surprise me with vague mannerisms after a match is over. Like, let me know this is Undertaker's last match. Let me know, if Cena loses, he's retired. Like, let me know these things, because that can add a lot of excitement to a feud.
So what match was your favorite then?
I got to tell you, from a strictly wrestling point of view, and when you consider everything that was going into last night and the stipulation that we made fun of, I really liked Bray and Balor last night because it was different. It told a story. It was not what I was expecting. And I just thought they did a really good job. I can't explain it other than I know what I like, and I know it might not have hit everybody last night, but it hit me. Like, if they came to the back, I'd have been like, guys, that was exactly what you were supposed to do. I thought
it was great. I thought that was a great match. It was an awesome match.
Yeah, that's what I took away from it. I wish I would have paid.
I love Bray Wyatt now. I think he seems bigger too and meaner.
Yeah, he seems heavier. I agree. Is that what you mean?
Well, heavier, but his arms are thicker too. Like he's getting bigger.
It might help that he's been feuding with Finn Balor, who's pretty small. But
yeah,
no, I agree with you. He does look bigger. But like, that's the kind of matches I want out of Bray, and for Finn too. This, like, I've been waiting for a Finn match to really turn me on, and this was it. Like, I really liked this match. I think that Finn...
Was this their blow-off? Was this it for them?
I hope not, because this is what I wanted. I wanted Finn to lose handedly when he was the man. And then, you know, that the demon is what makes him successful, and that's what he needs to bring out of him to win or whatever. I think this was the time to give Bray the win, personally. You know,
we disagree. We had disagreed on that match just because I think that Bray eats. He's not the eater of worlds. He's the eater of losses.
Yeah.
So that was good. And I won the lock, but it was unsatisfying because I kind of wanted you to win the lock this week because I wanted Braun Strowman to win.
So it was kind of exciting in that. So you went up early in Finn beating Bray, and that's okay. I didn't have a ton of confidence in that one. So then it came down to, as long as Nia doesn't win the women's match, it's going to force the main event to decide who wins the lock.
Right.
And that's what happened because Alexa retained the title because that's the boring ending. And it went to the main event where I was certain I was going to win. And then I didn't. And not only that, the match didn't even take place as far as I'm concerned last night. Like, I don't even remember. I felt nothing from the main event. That was a real letdown, especially following how intense their SummerSlam encounter was. To follow it up with that last night, how disappointing were you last night in that main event?
I was disappointed. I have not seen a one-on-one Brock Lesnar match that I've enjoyed in quite some time. He does well in those fatal four-way triple threat situations, you know, Rollins cashing in type deals, because his matches are very formulaic and dare I say boring, but those two didn't bring the violence that they needed to bring.
Yeah, where I thought Finn and Bray were booked really well, I thought that match was not booked well. So yeah, I
thought that Neville and Neville was stiffer with Enzo than Lesnar and Strowman were with each other, and that's the match that needed to be stiff. That's the match that needed to be violent.
If any match last night needed the violence, it was that match, followed by Cena and Reigns. And Cena and Reigns, they kind of had it. That ending just kind of sucked, and the post ending I also was disappointed with. So there was that. You know, I think the most memorable moment from the show last night, with the possible exception of Cena's weird retirement I mean, Cena was putting a lot into that. We'll get back to that in a second. But the memorable moment, I think, was Cesaro losing his teeth. What a weird, first of all, what a weird way to do that.
That's bleeding the hard way.
Well, it sure is. But like, that's a move that you have so much control over. I'm shocked that a guy as professional as Cesaro is breaking his teeth on a catapult spot.
What does Pritchard always say? It's not ballet.
Is that something he's been saying? I haven't heard him really resort to that yet.
It's not ballet.
So it's not. But I mean, like, that's a move that, like, you are doing all of the work yourself. I'm just shocked that, you know, it's like, when a guy accidentally knees a guy in the face, you know, that kind of happens. It's not ballet. But with a catapult, you have so much control. It's so easy to not screw that up. And here he is losing, was it 1, 2 teeth? Do you know how many he lost?
I don't know how many he lost, but his mouth was gross looking.
Man, I got to tell you, that I would not be, I'd be freaking the F out in real life as a shoot if that happened to me. Teeth stuff is so vital.
Was he the one that knocked out Hardy's tooth, or was that Sheamus?
Oh, I think that was Sheamus.
Because that's twice now that Cesaro and Sheamus have been involved in a match where someone's tooth comes out.
But like, this one looked even more brutal in that, like,
he's going to have a hockey mouth. There's the guy that coaches Penn State men's hockey here, Guy Godowski. I was at a dinner where he was, and he was like, well, I finally feel comfortable enough with you guys, so I'll just go ahead. This is what I do at dinner. And he just pulls his teeth out and sets it on the table. Like, that's a hockey guy. That's a hockey mouth. And
well,
now Cesaro's going to have hockey mouth.
I guess with Matt Hardy, it Matt or Jeff? It was Jeff. Jeff, it looked like it just knocked the tooth clean out.
Yeah.
But with Cesaro, it looked like they were chipped, which for some reason seems more brutal to me.
Because they've got to pull that tooth now.
I've got a tooth that's broken in half, and they just put something over it.
Oh, okay. Well, they could crown it, I guess, or something. I feel like if I ended up having a vampire tooth because it broke, I just had pull the son of a gun out and give me a fakearoo.
Well, I mean, if there's enough there that you can bond a top to it, I bet you they can do that. Just got a note from Kevin, who's watching live. Thanks, Kevin. By the way, we've got a good number of viewers going right now. Thanks everybody for watching.
Thank you.
Kevin's telling me that on Raw Talk, which, by the way, I only saw the Enzo stuff, which was interesting. But on Raw Talk, Cena says he's not retiring, he's not gone, but, quote, my role will now significantly change from this point on.
I mean, what does that mean? His role is already that of an ambassador, of a temporary locker leader. Like, he's not on camera all that much.
I'm going to say he is going to be significantly more part-time and also used to elevate talent. In, boy, who's a good example of, I don't know, not Undertaker, but there's people, better examples that I'm not thinking of right now that are just kind of
Fit Finlay.
Even
that was a joke.
Okay,
that was a joke.
I didn't know.
That was a joke.
So there was that. What about Miz and Jordan?
Where's your sense of humor today? Come on, Rob.
What? Sorry. I thought you were being serious at first because he was kind of an old timer who came back to help elevate talent, but he didn't have that huge name that Cena has.
No, not at all. Jason Jordan and Miz, great match. Holy cow! Keep a microphone away from Jason Jordan.
Man, why can't he get this?
Did you hear that? That was the that was the low point of the pay-per-view. I thought was when he was like, was Kurt Angle comes out, you lovingly chant, "You suck." But you know what, Miz? You really do suck. And I was like, holy smokes, that was really bad. And then he walked out of the ring like that was his mic drop. You suck, though. Boom.
We don't say it lovingly. Yeah, no, dude, it is bad. And I guess their match was okay. I guess I wanted a little more out of it. I don't know. I don't remember much of it.
They didn't tell a story. The best story of the night, the best storytelling was done with Enzo and Neville, and those two got crucified by the crowd who had had enough of it halfway through and started chanting, "This is boring."
I actually I got to give the storytelling plus to Finn and Bray.
Yeah.
Personally, I really like that match. And like, you can go back and like, I feel like every match was really watchable, but again, really, really shooting itself in the foot by not having anything progress, man. Nothing moved forward last night. That's what's killing me, especially when you had, well, I guess, okay, Cena and Reigns, I guess you could say, had some closure to it, I guess. But like with the title situation, the women's title, the tag title, nothing really happened last night. You didn't miss anything if you missed last night. And that's what's killing me with these shows.
Yeah.
To its credit, it felt more important than a TV show. It felt more important than a Raw. I like that.
No, because every title was on the line. It was basically a night of champions.
Do you want to meet halfway and say this was a C+?
Sure, absolutely.
I can do that. Okay.
I don't want to bury this pay-per-view because the wrestling was good. It suffers with me because I had higher expectations. Much like I've given pay-per-views Bs that probably didn't deserve them because I expected them to be stinkers, and they weren't.
That's all part of it. I don't think that that's out of line.
But the build couldn't have been better for this, and I just feel like they just decided not to continue any stories.
Yeah, I don't know. And like the Cena thing, like if that was some sort of walk off, I wish that it just had more clarity to it. Like I know that he sat in the ring for a long time. He said thank you. I believe he waved goodbye. I know he kissed a set piece on his way out. He did the very dramatic, long walk out. And
now is Roman Reigns going to be our baby face? Is that, and I hope this doesn't annoy people. We're always talking about something to wrestle with Bruce Pritchard. It's an insightful podcast. I think this way we love it so much. Listening to it this weekend, one of the episodes, they compare the feeling in the back and how they were trying to crowbar Lex Luger down everyone's face as a face. 94 Royal Rumble, going against Bret Hart. They wanted Lex Luger to be the baby face that everybody loved, and nobody would get behind it. They didn't. The fans didn't want it, and they compared it to Roman Reigns. And a lot of what they're doing here, it's like taking them a while to get the hint that that's not the way to go. You got to go a different way now.
Yeah, for a company that really prides himself on the universe and listening to their audience and reacting to their audience, they haven't really done that here lately with Roman. I wanted to also recommend something to you, and I don't think this is on the network, but it might be. Earlier this weekend, I watched it's the true story of the Royal Rumble. And I know this is something that's interesting to you. It's a topic that you like. And they showed some behind the scenes stuff. I was really surprised. I was really shocked that they showed. So the whole documentary, while they certainly revisit a whole lot of older stuff, the documentary takes place at Royal Rumble 16. And it's the one, or I guess they revisit 15 a lot. The one that Roman wins in Philly.
Okay. Yeah.
And they show what happened in the back when he walked back to detail that I'm really surprised they went into. And I know this is one of your favorite stories in wrestling, and how Vince reacted to the crowd turning on him, how Michael Hayes, started reacting to this, how Triple H reacted to.
And how did they really react to it?
You kind of need to see it, but they were like, okay, it's Roman trying to convince himself he wasn't upset, which he clearly was, but he kept telling himself that he's not upset about the crowd. He kept telling himself that. And then you see everyone kind of giving him words of encouragement as far as like, we're not going to change our plan because one city didn't get it. You had to see it. I know you'd like it if it's on the network. Otherwise, I've got it on Blu-ray. I'll show it.
Is it his 24? Is it part of his?
Not that I know of.
Okay.
I've only seen it on the Royal Rumble, the true story of the Royal Rumble. And they also give pretty good insight on Batista the year before.
I want to see that.
Yeah.
But you said they're not on the network, or they might be.
I don't know. I don't think. Sometimes they release the documentaries because the documentary is just like an hour. And if you can't, you would love it. I'll tell you, once they show what it was like when he gets back, I think you'd really appreciate it. Plus, it's an hour of Rumble stuff, which was fun.
That's always fun.
So, and then this is my last DVD for a while to catch up on. Then I'm going to start watching a whole bunch of network stuff that I've been behind on.
Primetime Wrestling, and they've got a new Bobby the Brain Heenan collection up.
Yeah. I'm going to start with TNT, I think. Plus, I've got I'm behind on 24s. I'm behind on story times and table for threes, and just want to catch up on some of that good stuff. So anything else you want to throw in before we're pretty much in agreement. I would say this is the most agreeable we've been on, agreeing on a pay-per-view. We give it a C+. So if you agree, disagree, if there's something we left out, let us know. Leave us a comment on the post show. Like you guys always do. We love interacting with you guys on the post show. For myself, the Rob, my tag team partner in podcasting, the one and only Swiss Superman, Jerry Valeri. We will see you tomorrow. We'll chat about what went down on Raw tonight, tomorrow on Post to Post.
I may be a Swiss Superman, but I have all my teeth.
A beautiful set of pearly whites on Valeri. Let's see him, Jer.
Off-white.
There
they are. Very good.
Bitch.